I don't know what theme song this is, but welcome to episode 102 of If We Ran Nintendo, and I want to say a big thank you to everybody for being here on youtube.com/WeTheNerdy and for supporting us at patreon.com/MakeUsBetter. Like our executive producers, our platinum executive producers, Corey Hicks at twitch.tv/ wait, crap, why aren't I looking at my paper? Twitch.tv/chicks_18 and Mr. Mark Moody at youtube.com/Mr. Moody Reviews. Our gold executive producers, the guys from Quest for Pixels, Sheldon, Benedict, and Tony Baker. Our executive producers, Dude427, Martini Jean, Aaron Doherty, David Ray, Jesse Armstrong, Joel Brooks, James Johnson, Dr. Doom, Nick Milicia from Next Level Games. He's got hundreds of games, thousands of games, and our good friend Tim Ulf. Now, let's start the show with some music and intros and stuff.
Let's face it, as Nintendo fans, we are often left slightly disappointed and scratching our heads asking why. Where is our Super Mario Galaxy 3? Why isn't Metroid out yet? Bring back the Ice Climber, seriously, and what were you thinking? Well, sit back as Sean Capri and Bobby Pauls do just that. That's right, this is If We Ran Nintendo. Now, cue the music, maestro.
Hey everyone, it's me, Sean Capri, and welcome to episode 102 of If We Ran Nintendo. I am joined by the greatest co-hosts in all of the land, Dave Moore and Jonny Casino. Hi guys, hi, hello. Did you guys know that this show comes on youtube.com/WeTheNerdy every Monday live, and then every Wednesday on iTunes and Google Play? Did you guys know that? You do now, you big silly suckers.
I'm watching it right now.
Jonny, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
Oh,
I've got my lemonade here with me today. Spiked
really?
with a whole lot of vodka. Yeah, so my beer line's clogged, so I couldn't have my beer. So I looked in the cabinet and there was some vodka. So
you're podcasting with the different Capri
beer
today,
line just
man.
needs to be used more often. I know. I don't know what to do with this.
I'm not pregnant.
I mean, but you're pretty cute, so
Speaking of people who are cute, we've got Dave Moore. He's wearing a cute old Pokemon shirt with the little monsters. You got Squirtle there, and you got your Charmander and your Charizard and your stuff. And who else you got? Is that it? Oh, look at all them down there too. You got little Squirtles. Oh, we're doing the shirt thing. Yeah, we're doing the shirt thing right now.
Are we doing shirt show? I feel like I'm gonna rob a bank here.
Yeah. Everybody's telling me the sound is off. There's nothing I can do about that right now, you guys. So you're just gonna have to. We're just have to pretend like this is a great Crunchyroll audio or anime, and everything's out of sync. So if you guys could even try to make your mouths not move.
Wait. Are they saying the sound is off as in not lined up, or the sound is off as in they can't hear anything?
Bad Big Game says the audio is out of sync, and there's nothing I can really do. I don't know, guys. Nothing we can do about it. But that's okay. You're recording totally fine.
I mean, your connection is usually better when you're driving.
I should probably just, if you guys can just like take a moment, and I'm gonna get in my car and we'll leave. We'll leave right now, guys. I wanted to talk to you a little bit before Todd Oxter. You're just gonna have to just chill, because we're gonna talk to these guys about a brand new podcast you guys have started called, I believe, I was typing in Radio Islam. I don't think that's what it's called. Dave, what is the new show that you guys are doing? Oh, Islam. Okay,
Islam.
what the hell is this?
John?
Why didn't I just ask John then?
We were looking for something. Yeah. We were looking. The problem is we were looking for another show to do, something to give us, something else to do after we stopped our 3-day-a-week show, and Radio Islam was already taken, so we had to not go that route. Went with Radio Islam.
We couldn't do our dream podcast about the Islamic community. It was just already taken. We didn't want to be in a space that was already taken. Gaming was too crowded already.
It also turns out we know just as much about Islam as we do about video games, so we would have been okay. But instead, we're talking about something that we also know nothing about, which is podcasting.
Okay. Okay.
And new media.
And new media. Which is a thing. It turns out new media is a thing.
We looked it up on episode 5 today. Because we felt like we're going to rebrand the subtitle of the podcast.
But
we
what
might as
is
well
happening
know
to
what
all
our
your
subtitle
shows?
means.
So what's happening to Sheldon Forgotten? What's happening to Forget Being Cool? Where do we stand with you guys right now? Let's set the record straight because I'm confused. I'm not really confused. I know what's going on.
That's a hell of a question.
Forget Being Cool. Forget Being Cool was 3 days a week and nobody listened to it. And it was a lot of work. And it didn't feel unique enough. John and I were getting bored with it already and didn't know how to change it up, and we were just at a loss. So we went back to Sheldon Forgotten. Sheldon Forgotten will continue to exist in some form or another. And we're going to do Radio is Lame. And there's talks about other projects, but we want to leave space open to make
the reason I wanted to get into it with you guys, because it actually has to do with our topic today, about talking about how to make a Nintendo podcast good, like if it were Nintendo's podcast. Because you guys had an episode of Radio is Lame a little while ago talking about like starting up new shows and like getting listeners and starting from scratch and kind of what all that means. So like I'm really enjoying this new thing. Hopefully you guys actually do it for like a year at least. I think that would be awesome. That's not a slam. I want more of it. That's not a... Don't do that. Don't twist my words. I want you guys to continue to do this.
No, it's fun. It's like today we recorded this morning, and it was some of the most fun podcasting I'd done in a while. Like we were laughing, having a good time, and so it's fun as long as we can keep maintaining topics to talk about. The show shall go on.
Right. Thank you. Well, you're doing another show, Johnny. In case people don't know, you're talking to my wife on a weekly basis. Yeah.
Apparently he's doing it.
So talk about that. I already know about it. For people who don't know, what is apparently?
So Chelsea Capri and I do a show called Apparently: a parenting podcast. And we each basically pick a parenting topic, and a lot of times we'll come at the end of it with a topic from someone who listens and writes in or whatever. And we just talk about it, and it's I don't know. I guess what's really nice is that Chelsea and I have some very different views on different things with parenting, and sometimes our stuff lines up pretty well, and we've recently found a bunch of stuff that does not line up so well, and so we get to argue about it some and have a good time and cry for help for people that can maybe correct our parenting.
I'm so grateful
techniques.
for it. You know what has honestly, I'm going to dive in and say this, what has honestly happened since you guys started doing this show? I get in a whole lot less trouble. Like I'm being yelled at a whole lot. Like she just needed somebody else to yell at. So I'm really great. You get to be my new punching bag for my wife.
There have been, I want to say the last like 2 or 3 episodes.
You took
I have gotten
beating
berated
this
at the
week,
beginning
and
of
I don't know. You guys record all
another.
out of order because like kids and stuff, and jobs and schedules and stuff. But last week I really enjoyed it because you guys were able to have a bit of a conversation with listeners and stuff. People are chiming in to the topics and stuff. So you recorded in close proximity to some of the stuff coming in from your listeners. And I thought that was really great. I don't know if this last episode had been recorded a little while ago, because my wife totally just like kicked your ass about the whole helmet and riding a motorcycle thing.
Yeah. Don't worry. It gets brought up again in another episode.
I'm sure, like this is the thing. You're never like, even if you go out for like a sweet ride, you're not allowed to tell her. You can't bring it up again.
No, I do. But here's what I've done since then. What I've done since then has been like, hey, it's really nice outside, because I bought my new motorcycle and I bought a new jacket and a bunch of stuff. And I was like, hey, it's like 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which I don't know what that is in Canadian. And I'm like, hey, like it's really hot outside, but I wore my helmet and I will tell her these things. Just be like, okay, are you gonna yell at me next time? Okay, good.
That's so
good,
funny.
good.
Well,
I'm
guys,
safe.
we're getting way ahead of ourselves, because why don't we start this show like we do each and every weekend episode, and however Bobby used to say it, with our shout outs. I almost said geek outs. Thank you.
Geek
I
outs.
will start. You guys take a second. I think you got a little thing, so I don't want you to get there just yet. I want to give a shout out to, this is probably 6 weeks in a row, Adam Leonhardt, specifically not just to the man, but to the drunk texting that he did the other night. He texted the internet. Did you guys see this? Adam Leonhardt, and I don't know if anybody's got notifications going off in the background, but it'd be sweet if you could turn those off. Adam Leonhardt drunk texted the internet, and it just told us all that he loved us all, and I loved it. So that was really funny. Also, I want to give a shout out to his cat. I don't think his cat's doing very well. So all jokes aside, Adam, I'm really sorry to hear that Max isn't doing so well. But moving on, my second shout out, guys, in case you were wondering, is Alejandro Buendia. And the reason that I am sorry, or that I'm giving a shout out, is because I'm very sorry to Alex. Today, it's a weird day, guys. You are the very last guests of this sort of format for If We Ran Nintendo. I have something very important to announce. But before I announce it, I want to fulfill my apology to Alex, because he was just talking to me about, like, so when are we going to be able to do this thing? And I'm like, about that. So, goodness gracious, I don't know what that sound is. John,
I don't know.
John just looked like it was him.
I don't think it's me.
I know, but his head was like...
I don't think it is. I'm like looking around,
anyway,
I see nothing.
Alex, I'm very sorry, man. We will have you
on
the show, but not in this format. And I'll tell you why. And John, it's possible that your sound is coming through your webcam, not your microphone, because Discord is silly. And while you figure that out, I have a big announcement to make, guys. Huge announcement. We started teasing something in the Discord. We started teasing a new challenger was coming. I thought that this format with the guessing was pretty fun. I was having a good time, but I started hearing feedback from people, especially when Bobby came back, to say, you need some chemistry with a guest, like with a co-host, from week to week to week. Bobby had died. Bobby can't come back. So it was like, who else could it be? And then the boys from Fluxtapose showed up on If We Ran Nintendo, and it was shortly after Jason Lacey and I had an episode of If We Ran Nintendo. We're like, we should probably do something together. And the feedback of people wanting a co-host and me wanting to be best friends with Jason Lacey, and we're practically the same person. I'm so happy to announce that the next co-host of If We Ran Nintendo is none other than 1990s James Cameron, Jason Lacey. Hooray! Yay, thank you. Thanks, guys.
Can I ask why you put your fingers together in an awkward way for that?
I can't dance. Like, I can't really get up, because, like, as soon as I get up, then you'll see my, like, man boobs move. So I just I dance with my hands instead. Mostly just don't know what to do with them. So yeah, Jason Lacey. Okay. Shout out, little announcement baked into the shout outs, guys. That was fun. And lastly, my shout out is I am a new patron of the OK Beast Patreon, because those guys are awesome, and it's about time that they announce that they're doing their Patreon. So OK Beast, it's at patreon.com/OKBeast. I love those guys, and congratulations on your launch. It was a huge day. I think you're doing so well. I'll probably like pull back my support just a little bit. Doesn't seem like you need it that much, but congratulations. Amazing day. Guys, Johnny, you got some shout outs for us?
So Dave had a little joke he was going to do, but I can't fall in line with him. I cannot be controlled by Dave, John.
And who am I going to give shout-outs to, John?
I have to give my shout out to someone who I've recently connected with, and become friends with.
Oh, nice.
And that's Chris Burdo. So Chris and I started doing a thing. It's called That's Classified, and the whole purpose was we were gonna like play games and like talk about military stuff, and then have to stop ourselves in between because it's classified. Well, we never get that far. It's mostly just dick jokes and very other inappropriate things. But it has been so much fun, and like once a week, he and I get together and we play games and we just laugh and crack up and have a good time, and it's been awesome. So I'm gonna do that, and then I was gonna give one to Adam Leonard, not to brag, but someone stole that. So,
but you made up the not to brag thing. That has been my favorite thing ever. Like, you guys became friends very quickly, and you didn't want to be too braggy about it.
Well, so not to brag just been that thing that it's always made me laugh. Like when you say it about something not brag-worthy.
That's pretty funny.
So
hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Dave.
You want to say hi to anybody?
Hi, John.
Dave, you do shout outs all the time. You just don't call them that. You just talk directly to people.
I'm gonna give a shout out here to Grouchy Serge, because I'm sick of his tweets. I don't want to speak anymore. I get enough of them. No one should be saying hi to me. I say hi to you. Understand how it goes.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay. I feel like maybe you haven't like watched the show
Grouchy
before.
Serge.
Like maybe you don't understand like how the shout outs work. Like they're generally like really nice and like you know show appreciation. You don't take that opportunity.
I mean, his co-host is pretty nice. Trash Turkey's pretty
They're
nice.
all nice.
He sends me
Everybody's
nice.
nice.
He likes my stuff.
Dave.
Dude is pretty cool. You know, he's in there.
Okay, let's move on to my.
David Ray always says hi to the chat on this show.
Dave,
I know, it's
Dave,
so weird. That's so strange.
Shows,
yeah, anyway. This is my 4th day in a row podcasting. This is nuts. I'm glad I saw my voice. But why don't we move on to my favorite my favorite segment of the show, the What You Playing, brought to you by Fluxtapose, which is actually way more better now. Words and language. Johnny, have you been playing anything on... Have you played your Switch lately? Have you been playing some stuff? I'm mostly just going to talk to you from now
stuff,
on,
but
actually.
I haven't really played the Switch.
For the rest...
No, that's okay. I understand. Sometimes I just talk to myself on our shows, so... I haven't... So I've been playing Celeste off and on. Like, I'll turn on my Switch, play like a level of Celeste. I'm really lost right now and just cannot figure out where to go. Yeah, well, that's my thought, but I can't figure out how to get there. Like, there's a wall and a key, and I cannot get in this one area.
I know where
it's too tight.
Isn't that the weirdest thing about that game? Where like it's a platformer, and like I legitimately was thinking sometimes where I'm like, I should just be able to like just go to the right. Why am I trying to like figure out like it's like a puzzle, but in using up your moves and your dashes and stuff, like you have to do it in a particular way, which makes it seem and feel more like a puzzle than a platformer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great game, but I'm so stuck and lost right now. I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna have to like watch something to figure out how to get past this one little spot I'm at. But I've been turning that on every once in a while playing it. But as far as like other Nintendo stuff, I have been playing. So I've been playing a little bit of the Mario Golf on the 3DS. So I bought that. I jumped in that tournament. I'm a little confused. Is it one like 18-hole thing for each tournament?
That's right. You can become a pro at it if you like. Or you just play it once and that's it. Like, so if you do your first round, you're like, I don't know, you get like -2, and you do it again, you get like -15, like this guy. Then you upload that, it takes over your score, and that's what you're going with. But then if you do it again, you get like a worse score, you don't have to upload that. You can keep your good score.
Okay, well, this explains why I came like third to last.
Humble brag.
Because I jumped in like, oh, it's yeah. I'm like, it's the same course. Maybe I'm done. I don't know.
Did you just do it the one time?
I'll do better next time. So I've been playing that. Oh, I did it twice, and I was very confused. But I did that, and then yesterday I spent a few hours playing Mario Superstar Baseball on the GameCube, and I actually bought that off of a pickup that Josh Stapleton had. So I bought that from him, and I played a few hours of that yesterday, and oh man, that game, it holds up so well. Like it'd be better if I was playing with someone, but the game itself holds up, like completely holds up. Absolutely love all the Mario sports titles except for, I don't know, I heard the Wii U tennis one was garbage, but outside of that, they're all great. I love Mario sports titles. I want more.
I love it, man. Well, that was the whole thing about Sheldon Forgotten, that you guys got to go back and play these. Like, you had really rigid rules too. Like, it had to be at least last gen. You guys were playing all the old stuff. Now it just like literally sits on your shelf for us to forget about unless we're actually watching you. I'm seeing some cereal behind you. You ever gonna eat that, or did you? Is that an empty box of cereal?
It's an empty box. My son got it for his birthday like a month and a half ago, and my daughter ate the marshmallows out of it, and I just kind of kept the box back there with the rest of my Nintendo stuff. You can see all my beautiful, mostly
shelf,
Nintendo
man.
stuff all behind me.
No, man.
It's very unorganized.
Oh,
it is. I have all my cars right here. My
actual Mario cards. Okay, I thought you were going to bring up Cars again, like the movie that is not good.
No. It's all the different Mario games on these cars, and then behind me in the box is like a bunch of Mario characters.
I just want to say that I really
like
appreciate what you're doing right now, because one of my favorite things to do on the show is just reach behind us and just see what kind of random crap we can get. Like, let's everybody just show us our toys. Oh, that was sweet.
Pull this one off. This one's still in the box
Hot
for
Wheels.
Christmas. Yeah, this happened. Yeah, and this is, I have the whole set of these, and I have the whole previous set.
That's awesome.
That I was showing you
Hi,
a second
Dave.
ago. And I just
Are you playing
Hi.
anything, or
I'm still here.
what do you play?
No, my Switch continues
is
to
it
gather
really?
dust. It's really good at that.
Are you gonna get the
There's
Switch
nothing
Online?
for
Are you
it.
gonna do the NES Netflix thing?
Yeah, because I'll play those NES
They're all
games a
about-
little bit, maybe. I'll pay for
You'll play like soccer against me, right? I say that
Actually,
you
that's
haven't
a
played
good
anything
point.
with me in forever.
Everybody's freaking out about this online thing, and I'm freaking out because Dr. Mario, number one, is going to be amazing with online support. But yes, soccer and tennis and whatever, like that could be so much fun.
And
it
guess
could
what?
be.
It works exactly the way I said it should work. Virtual console where the controllers share across the internet.
Yeah.
It works exactly the way I said it should. Because that's how you add online support to old
like
games.
just a little bit of if we ran Nintendo, and then they did it, and that's why it's so satisfying. Yeah.
Right.
Hey, John, I'm feeling like maybe I should go get some rum to go along with my Diet Pepsi just to join you tonight.
My rum ran out, and I haven't had a chance to
I decided
go get
not
more
to get any
rum.
more rum because I stopped playing Sea of Thieves, so that was kind of how that worked.
I've decided when I'm podcasting late at night, I love the hard liquor while podcasting.
Well, I'm going to be
Like,
right
that's the
after
way
this,
to
not
go.
Nintendo related, but right after this, I'm going to be streaming State of Decay 2. And what better way to celebrate the zombie apocalypse than maybe a couple beers? Maybe just drink a couple beers.
That's true. So Jason Lacey in the chat real quick, he just pointed out that, we're talking about the online stuff, and he was talking about Blades of Steel. If we could get Blades of Steel, I would play that every single day. Because that is one of my favorite
It was one of
NES
those
games
like
ever.
you played and you don't even know how seminal it is. That's the innocence of being a child playing your NES and all the old games. Like you don't even know that these games are going to be some of the greatest of all time. Like I don't think that really exists now even. Maybe it's a different topic for another show.
Do you think there's a chance that NES Play Action Football will be one of the 20 that comes out at the beginning, and I can get by?
You
against
could
me?
get him to play it.
Because if I can, that would make my day to just destroy him in that game. If I lost, I would just cry.
That would be
and
the
never
longest
come on the show
play
again,
of
but-
you would have to have been following all of us for the longest time to even understand that this is a thing, and to see it kind of like pan out is very strange. I'm having trouble. My hat is like kind of tilted and webcams kind of flip you, so I'm trying to adjust it. Anyways, guys, do you think that this is an okay time to jump into no?
No, don't.
You know what?
Don't
You're
let Todd
right.
Oxford have
Also,
his
because I
topics.
want to jump into the chat here and thank everybody for being here. Josh Stapleton was the first one here. Jesse Armstrong loved our intro music. James Johnson, all the patrons are here. Bad Big Games, he was the one who warned me about the audio issue. Johnny Casino's in the chat. Holy crap. That is awesome, guys.
Hey, look
Jesse
at me.
Armstrong. Jason Lacey is here, and I think he was here for the announcement. And everything seems to be working. Jams, lots of jams, and lots of Jason Lacey. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Remember, you can be here. If you missed the show, you can be here on Monday nights live at youtube.com/WeTheNerdy. Now, Todd Oxtra can just chill because it's time for our one and only topic, you guys. Hi, Dave. Nope.
Hi, John.
Nope. Sean
And
said
Sean.
hello. The
Hi, Dave.
topic, I'm naming it Topic Radio is Lame. If we ran Nintendo, how would we format the Nintendo Power podcast? And actually, I'm going to maybe sneak in a second one, but we'll see how this one goes. It is related to, did you guys hear the news about the Star Fox racing game that's being...
Oh, yes.
Yes.
It's gonna be the best
Okay,
ever
so
made
we
if
can
it's
share
real.
some hype finally. Last week the guys were on, and we were sharing. I was trying to share some hype about the Switch Online thing because it had just been announced, and nobody was hyped except for me. Now I'm glad that you guys are hyped about this. I want to talk about this. Todd, just sit back down, man. I'm sorry. We're gonna talk about this for a second.
It's too good to
That's
be
what
real.
I think.
It's way too good to be real. This is a 5 on that scale, Sean. This is a 5 on that E3 prediction
Dude, it
scale.
actually
It's not
reminded
gonna
me of
happen.
your predictions on the Xbox show of like, yeah, why not just make this Fantasy X open world sports game built on the Forza Horizon engine? Yeah, great prediction out of nowhere.
Whoa. Sorry, my computer went blank for a second, so I didn't move my
hi, John.
mouse for a while. I'm back. Hi.
Hi, John.
Okay, so did they say much more than just it's Star Fox Racing or
Grand Prix is
what
all
they-
that I
what they
saw,
call it?
or Grand Prix.
Okay,
Star Fox Grand Prix.
so I have a level of excitement there because it seems like it would mix Star Fox, one of my favorite video games, and like F-Zero, one of my favorite Super Nintendo games. But I don't know if I want that mix. Like, I don't know if I want Star Fox Racing. I want Star Fox flying. I want my up and down, left and right. I don't want my
Just
just
imagine
left
doing
and
all
right.
the flips.
I want it to be like combat racing, like Jack X combat racing, with the guns. Like you always have weapons at all times.
Yes, guys, this is going to be incredible. I'm not even joking about this. Like, speaking of long plays, you have to know me for a long time. Way back in like the N64 and the what the hell were they called? Pod Racer. Remember episode 1, the Pod Racers? Remember there was a game, the Pod Racer game?
Yeah.
I wanted, back then, I was talking with neighbor Matt, and we would always talk about how everybody laughed at me. I'm like, I want a Star Fox racing game. I swear to God, I talked about Star Fox the racing game back in like 1999. And now it's finally happening. This is a dream that I've had for, I don't know how to do that math, 25 years.
But would it be in a 3-dimensional space?
No. Like Mario
or would it be
Kart.
on a track? If it's on a track, it feels like it takes something away from it. Like barrel rolling on a track, one doesn't seem very safe. Seems like you're gonna hit your wing on something, or like the people next to you.
Have you played Diddy Kong Racing?
I own Diddy Kong Racing.
So that's a no.
Okay. Have you played with the planes?
Oh well, see that's the thing though, because that's a 3D space. Like, would it be like that? Because that would be okay.
That's what I picture. I mean,
okay.
It's probably going to be some land mastery ground kind of stuff. It'll be faster, I'm sure. But, like, there's no way there's no flying of any kind.
Okay, see, that I could get behind.
There's got to be some airborneness to
Imagine if it was actually just a landmaster and, like, when your guy is, like, running along the ground. Like, he's just, like, and that's it. That's what the racing is.
No, well, you could do the chicken walker. It is, but if you had just nothing but chicken walker races, like if that was the first level you had to get through.
I'm not sure why you cut out there, but all I think about when I think about chicken walker racing is I want to throw a little stick in front of you and then you trip over it. Those guys are just so top heavy. It'd be so easy to knock them over. Okay, that's hilarious. Guys, let's talk about making a good podcast. This is Radio is Lame is your new show. You guys are pumping out new shows every other week. Apparently is a new thing. Dave had the #1 rhythm gaming podcast on the internet. So I thought it was very timely and very appropriate to have you guys on to talk about what would you want as a fan out of a Nintendo podcast? Sort of like a Nintendo, what do you call it? Like their own. I don't even know what to call it. Yeah, it's a corporate podcast. Yeah. So, I mean, even calling it that sounds kind of stinky. So, Dave, I don't know. Have you thought about this at all since we brought up the topic? Like, what was the first thing to come to mind for you?
Yes. My first thought that came to mind is, first of all, what's wrong with it in its current state? Because what's wrong with it is that Nintendo Power as a magazine was always kind of shady, that it was an internal, like, we review our own games and share our own stuff.
Well, that's actually messed up. So I don't think Nintendo Power was actually owned by Nintendo. I was listening to episode 3 of the podcast, and he was saying it was some outside entity. Like, it wasn't Nintendo that owned Nintendo Power.
The magazine, yeah. Yeah, but
like they bought it later.
But there was a clear purpose of that. So I'm with you, Dave. Like there was a clear it was clearly propaganda, and you couldn't trust it. Like, let's just say it wasn't like a third party doing their own thing. It was you always had to question it.
But here's the difference between that and a podcast. A podcast, you attach yourselves to the hosts. That's why shows do well. That's why people continue to listen to If We Ran Nintendo, right? Because they're attached to Sean and the people in the community, right? The problem with this is when you're a corporate-y, like, internal kind of thing, like, you don't gain that same kind of attachment and trust. Like, we already kind of don't trust them because of the way. So that interaction, that level becomes way more personal than it ever did with a magazine.
So, but I mean, okay. So beyond that, right? But in still that same topic of like connecting to the host, like, yeah, Homeboy's boring. Like, he is, and I don't know what his name is. I think he used to work for the magazine. Yeah, Homeboy. Yeah, Home Skillet is what they really refer to him as. Like, he,
my man on the internet.
So I started listening to it. And the guy, it's like NPR for video games, and you can't have NPR for video games. Like who is connecting with this guy? And apparently they have listeners because they are the official Nintendo podcast. I mean, so there are people that are going to flock to it.
they instantaneously have listeners because they have an audience with their games. It's just nature of the business. This podcast has thousands of listeners, whether they had done anything or not. Like, it was just going to be that way. So,
but see, okay, well, but what they need to do to start with, like the very first step they need to do, and I think Dave this a little bit earlier, is they need to figure out who that audience is. Like, who are they trying to connect with? Because if you listen to it now, the conversation seems to be like it's going towards someone in their 40s, but the topic matter is for someone in their 20s and below, right? I mean, granted, I'm mid 30s and love Nintendo games and all that stuff, but I don't think we, and maybe we as in who listens to the show and everything like that, are the norm. Like, I think Nintendo's normal reach is going to be a younger audience, but the way the guy is speaking and in the conversations he has and stuff like that are definitely like an entertainment level for an older audience, and it just doesn't seem to work out.
Hi, this is Homeboy from Nintendo, and we're going to talk about why we like in Donkey Kong, because you know what's really great about Donkey Kong is there's a big ape. Apes are pretty great.
Apes are pretty great.
No, like,
yeah, that's awesome.
But I mean, that's the problem with this show. Like, it comes down to he is not entertaining in any aspect of anything. And the other mistake they're making is they don't have anything important to say. Like, there's no reason to listen to Nintendo Power. Like, there's no big exciting thing. The magazines at least had like tips and tricks, right? This is like, here's an interview with a guy who's speaking Japanese, with a guy doing voiceover over and talking about some indie game that nobody gives a crap about.
And see, that's where I think they're definitely missing a mark right there. Is like, they are Nintendo. They have the inside knowledge. I mean, I listen to a video game podcast. Like, I'll listen to the Giant Beast Cast, one of my favorites right there. And there's things they say that are incorrect because they're not completely in the know. All right, and you later realize that, hey, this was wrong. Nintendo's gonna know. Like, they're gonna know the facts. They have that opportunity to do that. But he's right. But Dave's right. They don't do it.
This is so Nintendo, though, you guys. Like, where somebody somewhere said, you know how we connect with the youngsters out there. You know how we get engagement with our audiences. This podcast thing that everybody's doing. So that all sounds really great. But then Nintendo goes, but we need to make sure that the message is controlled. We can't have, if people are going to be listening to this thing and it's not pre-scripted and everybody's going to be making things up as they go, we need to have some form of control. And I feel like that is represented in the host that you're talking about. This sort of like he's not going to fly by the seat of his pants. He's not going to be making things up as he goes along. He can look at 5 bullet points that he's going to need to hit, and it's going to be very clinical. So I think that may be one of the first things that if we ran Nintendo and we wanted to make this show better, more listenable, it is just maybe just having a little bit more trust in the host. And for me, this is not going to be too terribly contradictory, is you need to find somebody within the company who's done this before. And Jose Otero, of course, from NBC, left to go work for Nintendo. I don't know if his job prohibits him from doing that, or maybe he doesn't want to do that sort of thing. But like, there has to be, it seems like we're sort of like watching them go through the growing pains that a lot of like us, like we all go through these same growing pains of finding out what is our voice, how do we have fun doing it.
This is what I sounded like as a podcaster in 2012. Like, that's what it is. And it's a mistake though, because it's not, they're not letting anybody have fun here. Like, no, like even their guests, like they're people that come in and talk about Donkey Kong, like they're from Treehouse. Like, they're not even having fun. And you can hear it. And like, that's the problem with a podcast and these forms of video and these things we do now, is like, you can tell when people are having fun or not.
You know, you said something about, Jose Otero, and I didn't even think, that's got to be like the perfect get right there, because he, like, if you listen to NBC back when he was running it, he kept it under control. He kept it clean. He kept it family friendly. He wasn't so overly excitable, but yet he was still entertaining.
Yeah,
like, he was
and
still
in
there
the
for a
early
younger
days,
group.
he was sort of like, almost too by the book. Like there was sometimes where it was almost awkward to listen to, where he had to make sure that they got to the next topic or make sure that they fit everything in. And like sometimes you kind of go against the natural flow of conversation to do that. But like I feel like he already demonstrated anything Nintendo would want out of a podcast host. Now, I actually feel like, speaking of NVC, Philip Mewson has also gone through a similar like growth where he came in at the start and it was very like, today on Nintendo Voice Chat, we are going to talk about this. And like it was, I think even IGN was sort of figuring out their new format across the shows and trying to standardize it. Since they went live, dude's been killing it.
See, I don't know. Like I nothing against him. I don't enjoy it nearly as much.
Like change, guys.
I don't enjoy it. I don't know. It's not even like change. I don't like his flow. I don't like his, and I don't know if maybe he just needs a little more time to like relax and get into it in the way he should. But like everyone else seems like they should, and then there's like him.
I feel like the last just the last 2 weeks he started to engage with the chat a little bit. He started to do his polls, so maybe that's another aspect. And to be honest, like maybe now back to the Nintendo Power podcast, like they're not weekly. Like I think the frequency thing is maybe a bit of an issue here as well. So like the growing pains that are there at the start are gonna sound like they're there for a long time because they're only doing one episode per month.
Yeah, and they had. Go ahead.
They did weird thing at the latest of the last episode because I got caught up, and they were like, well, we're out of time, but we're going to tell you this one more thing about Donkey Kong, like really quick because we're out of time. Like, no. Stop it. No one's out of time on a podcast, right? You have 10 to 15 more minutes if you want them. Like, let's be for real. You wasted an entire hour talking to 2 indie developers at some conference where all you could do is hear clapping in the background. Like, don't tell me you're out of time to tell us this cool thing. Like, that's stupid. Mm-hmm. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Now, Dave, the real question is, was what they told you cool?
No.
And see, that's where the problem is. Like, they have the information. They have the ability to tell you all the cool stuff. They have to give you that tip that no one else has to sneak in a cheat code. I don't know if those are still a thing or not. You know, and I mean, a lot of this stuff is somewhat thwarted by the fact that the internet's there and everyone knows everything, or everyone knows everything and a bunch of lies.
So,
but like they have the ability to be like, okay, here's this thing that no one else can tell you. Go in this area, look here, and see what you see. I mean, they could do these things, and if you mix that with some level of actually being entertaining to the demographic of which they should be seeking after, they could possibly have a good show out of it.
So, if you ask me here, right, I think if we were in Nintendo, I think we realized right now that we made a mistake making a podcast. So, what I'm saying is not that we should pull it completely, but the idea of the format and the way it exists should not. There was an opportunity here for them to rebrand Nintendo Power, right? And instead of forming a podcast, I would have formed a podcast as well as like a YouTube channel / like, here's a bunch of people from Treehouse. We're going to kind of get rid of Treehouse.
But that's the thing, is they've already got Treehouse. Like, how did they mess this up so badly where like this should just be within that same sort of family?
Because Treehouse isn't great either.
Speaks the truth. I don't disagree with that at all, but some people are going to be upset about that. I wouldn't necessarily use the word terrible, but I don't tune in for long periods of time.
But what they should have done is they should have said, here's some people who are kind of in the know, but not really entirely in the know. And their job is to create like YouTube news videos, you know, do the whole thing that these communities are doing. Like YouTube news videos, podcast interviews that go up as discussions / podcasts on a podcast feed, right? And then like have somebody streaming games every day too. Like somebody personal and entertaining to stream and play with the community. Okay, somebody to play with Splatoon with other people. Like bring in listeners, bring in viewership, right? Bring that community forward, but corporately from Nintendo. And I think that's what they didn't do, and it's what they should have done.
So one issue we keep seeing with Nintendo, and I don't know about NOA as much as just Nintendo as an entity, is that they are very old school, right? Especially in Japan, it's very old school, very, I would almost say out of touch in a way. And I wonder if that's the overall problem. Like they need to just step aside and not step aside completely, but like pick someone like, okay, we understand we're a bunch of old people that don't know what a podcast is and vaguely know what the internet is. Let's find this young person that we can just put our faith in and put our faith in this not say random person, obviously they need someone they can trust, but like put our faith in this person to go do it, and someone who can make these decisions like what Dave's talking about. But like I fear there's too much oversight and control by people too high up who are just too
it comes out of the same camp as the one that doesn't allow any of us to stream their games and share their content. So aside from that, like the other, I'm sorry, Dave, go ahead.
Well, right, but they could. But
of course
they could do it.
Of course they could.
They could stream their own.
That would be.
And they'd have the bigger audience, and they would dominate and murder all of us because they're Nintendo. Like,
Nintendo would murder us all.
Murder all of us. Like that's just not right.
Yeah, they would just. Oh no! Well, he already. Yeah, maybe that's what happened to the guru. Yeah, maybe that's what happened to him.
He's already dead.
That's pretty sad.
Nintendo.
One of the things
didn't murder him.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were cutting out, so I was going to jump in, but go ahead. Go ahead. I was going to jump tracks here a little bit because I think about Nintendo Power. I was going to grab one from my box. I was going to grab one from my box, you guys, but I couldn't find one from May. I really wanted to find one from May, but I gave a whole bunch to Bobby. He probably has all my May issues. But the one thing that is consistent throughout all of them is that something Jonny touched on before, which is they all had like secrets, they had cheats, and I think that like back in the day, you could be like, you wanted to be good at a game. I don't know if that's necessarily like what kids endeavor to do now. I don't know what the youngsters are doing, but like you want to be better than your friends at like fighting games. You want to win at Street Fighter and all these different things. I think it would be really interesting to have like expert gamers and for them to own a little bit of the space, not necessarily esports, but like how do you win at Splatoon? Like they could have a whole episode dedicated to like how do you build a team, how do you build a squad in Splatoon, and then just start to dominate there and have people who have done it and offer tips and tricks. So it's a new way of.
See, the best part about this, Nintendo has that product. Like they have the team, like they have the effort. Like the treehouse already exists. So the fact that they could make these teams to step in here and say, let's do tutorial videos, let's do everything the community is doing it, but we'll do it from
with that
internal.
stamp of quality, like the seal of approval kind of thing.
Right. So they take Jose, they put him at the lead of this. Whatever his other job that just gets put on the back burner for all we care, right? I don't know what else. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to us is this podcast. So they take Jose, they put him at the front of this. Once a month, once every episode, however they do it, they take in these experts that give us that inside knowledge, not in interview form like they're doing now. Like they did an interview with the people from Celeste, and to some extent, I enjoyed that because it's interesting hearing from these developers and these indie people and how they made it and the music and whatever else. And I really like Celeste, but at the same time, like the target audience should not be a 36-year-old dude, right? It should be a 25-year-old guy, an 18-year-old, something like that, or even like, a 15-year-old.
Well, that's an interesting point,
really
though.
selling
Like,
this stuff
do
too.
18-year-olds, do kids listen to podcasts? Like, I think there's this weird, like, uncertainty that's happening with who is this for and what kind of content is being generated. I think you're right that Nintendo's general audience is younger, but I don't know if kids are listening to podcasts. Maybe some kids are here listening to this podcast.
Oh,
but they're too long. Like I feel like
be.
the podcast format isn't conducive for the attention spans for that audience. So I don't know. That's also very strange.
We're that demographic is that mid-20s
to Jonny,
late 30s demographic is.
Yeah, thanks, jerk.
Yeah, the demographic stretches from Dave to Jonny.
But that's the point. And they just don't. Nintendo seems to always be out of touch of who things are for. It's bizarre because it should be clear by now.
Yeah, and you know who has enough money to figure this out?
Oh, Nintendo. Yeah,
Nintendo does. Apple also.
Yeah, Xbox has obviously way too much money. This is something Dave and I talk about on Xbox Drive, is that Xbox Insider is just it's similarly, tone is off.
Well, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the
So
same.
and maybe that's just it. Maybe that's what we land on here, guys,
exact-
is that like maybe it is impossible for you to have like a naturally occurring corporate type of delivery of the message. Like blogs will always be super polished, podcasts will always be super scripted, and the like this isn't necessarily a Nintendo thing. But it's a super on brand for them.
But see, that's the thing is like they don't need to be delivering a message, right? Like they can do it
Well, it's
without
costing the
delivering
money for
a
to
message.
have those people there.
They
Like
can
it better be accomplishing something. Like, you know, from a business perspective, yeah, it should be.
Well,
But what's the point, though, then? If so what? It feeds us a boring corporate message that nobody actually really wants to listen to, that people tune in only to hear maybe a nugget of tiny little bit of information that's never actually going to happen.
I agree. It's
Like,
misguided for sure.
but if they do tips and tricks with like kind of like you suggested with people who have just rocked these different games, and it's something that's new that's on the Switch, then that could possibly bring people into buying that game.
As Nintendo, if we ran Nintendo, we would look at all the different kind of channels that we have to promote our message. So videos and websites and emails to people. Like every one of those channels should get a little boost, a little bump and a nugget of something that you're only going to find out there. And then the news of that spreads out sort of organically. So if let's say, for example, like the next Captain Toad is going to get a sequel. And the first time you hear about it is because you got an email because you asked for email updates from them. And another thing that they could announce is like maybe Super Mario Galaxy 2 is going to be remastered, and you heard that on the podcast. Like they have so much news. Like I always talk to Bobby about this, where Bobby was able to do a daily show about the Nintendo news, not just video game news. He did a daily show about Nintendo news. So like they have something that you can hear it first and be most excited about it on each one of these different things. And I don't see why that can't happen for the podcast either.
But see, that's even the problem. Like I thought about that too, is if they were to say, okay, we will put something big. It's only a monthly show. There's got to be one big piece of news they could put on that show every month, right? The minute that episode airs, Game Explain, IGN, everybody just picks it up. And
but don't you think they still quote that thing? I think that's why I'm kind of excited about that idea, because they would say Nintendo announced on the Nintendo Power podcast, blah, 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 blah. And then they cite their sources or whatever. They usually hyperlink. Like good journalists will hyperlink where it came from.
Right. No, it would be good, but would it be that big
I feel
of a
like
deal?
it's two servings in that, like, A, it gives you a reason to tune in, and then B, like, it sort of gives you that one focal point for I don't know, I'm not too locked in on this idea. I understand your point, but I think that there's got to be something really that you can only get there, and that's kind of where I'm driving at.
That's why I would have rebranded Nintendo Power as the new Treehouse, and I would have thought about what Treehouse and its purpose serves, because that
the
is
Nintendo
failing
Power
as well.
obviously is trying to tap into the nostalgia. So that to me kind of dictates what the audience is for the people, the kids who grew up into the adults who had Nintendo Power back in the day. I'm not necessarily sure that Nintendo Power on its own is something that like some kid would go like, that sounds great. It's us who go like, oh, that's neat. That used to be a magazine. Now it's a podcast.
Yeah, but then you listen to it and you're like, oh, but this sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of it. Like, it really is. Every time it shows up in my podcast feed, because I'm subscribed to it, I'm not excited. I'm only caught up on it because I was coming on to talk about it here. And
well,
I'm glad you did.
I'm glad you did. You did good homework. That's more than you do for Xbox Drive. Just any of them. Guys, why don't we do a thing here? We know a lot of podcasters in the group. If we ran Nintendo, who out of our group would be hosting on there? Johnny, why don't you go?
Ooh. Oh.
Okay. Well, obviously Bobby, but he's dead.
Who's going to do the Nintendo Power Cup? Yeah,
and Jason Lacey could do it, but now I've hired him. He's contractually obligated to be on it for Nintendo, so he's out.
So who else loves Nintendo?
Who?
Jams,
definitely a candidate.
Dr.
The
Doom.
Nintendo dads, but I think they're too busy being dads. Justin's
Just
in.
Justin.
No, Justin. He'll be on the European version now. So, and they're two segmented.
Just Adam Leonard, Justin Masson, and Jams Gams.
Okay, but see, now you're just making like a power podcast and
Megazord.
not something that's Nintendo folk.
Yeah, it's called Nintendo Power. It's a power
Like a super
podcast
group.
with people who talk about Nintendo. Power.
I gotta give a shout out
Okay.
to Donnie
But
Reese
see,
because there ain't no G's in playing Nintendo, and Caroline the Nintendo. I don't know if you guys listen to the Nintendo Shack, but you know Jason Lacey's gonna be too busy here, so get everybody else from the Nintendo Shack over on the Nintendo Power podcast because they swing some serious power. They got all of us playing Mario Golf. That's who you want on your Nintendo Power podcast. You want somebody who's not only just delivering like the latest news.
That's true.
You want people who are like diving deep into their stupid Nintendo catalog, going like, "I'm playing this now," and so are 20 of my closest friends because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, actually, that's really a good point because they can make Mario Golf that came out in like 2015 relevant
We're just
again.
doing this tournament.
So Dave, this is the overall problem that you and I have right here in the show, and the host just like shows us up completely. It's just like, oh, I've got the right answer. We're like, yeah, no, you're right. We didn't do it.
Try podcasting with Bobby for 90
This is
some
why
odd episodes. And be like, yeah, I don't know why I talk. Just you have it all. Like you're the guru. What the hell am I doing here?
Why we started our show by talking about brownies this week, John? It's because we had nothing.
You guys better
to
not be
talk
making
about.
weekend plans on your show, or Adam Leonard's gonna come after you.
Yeah,
That's all right.
It's all right, Adam.
Guys,
Imagine if Nintendo Power was good. I listened to that Megadance today. Hi, Adam.
oh, when he did Imagine, oh yeah, I was like, was that the Beatles you were just singing there, Dave? That is
It's
all.
not
Thank
really
you,
the
everybody,
Beatles.
for watching us at youtube.com/WeTheNerdy and listening on iTunes and Google Play. And thank you, everybody, for supporting us at patreon.com/MakeUsBetter. If you support at the $3 and up, you're in the show notes. At $10 and up, you're at the top of the show. And it's really fun. I get to say your name. And if you have a funny handle, I'll say that all loud and obnoxious and whatnot. Guys, we have a whole bunch of stuff still coming from the Make Us Better community this week, especially E3 predictions on We the Gamercast. But before I get into all of that, Jonny, remind everybody where they can find you, all the podcasts you're doing. Give me at least 6 of the 12 ideas that you have for new shows that surely will come in 2018.
Okay, so you can hit me up at Jonny_Casino. There's no H in the Johnny, just JONNY_Casino. I do apparently with Chelsea Capri. I do like 3 different shows with Dave. Now I only do 2 shows with Dave right now. Sheldon for Guys, where we pretend like we talk about old games, but really we just talk about whatever pops in our head. And sometimes one of us has played a game, and then we do Radio is Lame, where we talk about podcasting. I do a show called Generational Gamers with one of my best friends, Ben Butler, and that comes out every other week called Generational Gamers. We talk about video games. Actually, as I make Ben talk about video games because he knows things. Who knows? If you listen to Radio is Lame, you might come up with some of the ideas that for random shows, like where I sit down on a bench next to someone who's people watching at the mall and trick them into talking into a coffee cup.
See, you guys
with a
all
microphone
thought I
in
was
it.
joking about all these random
And telling
ideas.
me-
They're there. I've heard them.
Yeah, no, these are real. Like if you look behind me, I don't know if it might be out of the camera. I have a behind me and a lavalier microphone, I think is what's called, so that I can rig it all together and put it inside it and stick it next to someone and get them to tell me about what they think people are
Dave
doing.
and I are
when they're
giggling
people
at
watching
you
them.
calling it a lavalier because you just learned that from him. So, way to use it in a real sentence.
Yeah, no, I did.
Hi, Dave. Where can people find you on the
Yeah.
internet? What the hell are you doing on podcasts? And are you still doing Living Room Clutter? I know that.
I am still doing Living Room Clutter. Living Room Clutter it's a monthly podcast like Nintendo Power. You know why? Because we realized that we don't have enough to talk about.
Probably same thing.
The
Yep,
same
good
problem
one.
with Nintendo Power. Is exactly the same problem. And of course, you can listen to me on Sheldon Forgotten. That's what John. He mentioned
You're on that show
also,
too?
Also, Radio is Lame. I'm on
Yeah,
that
both
show
of us.
too. It's crazy. I know. You can follow me at DaceSpace. It's DACSPEC.
Yeah.
But of course, Sean, the Xbox Drive. You know, with you and
Yeah.
me, the Xbox Drive. Me and
And
Sean.
one time me.
And yeah, one time John, but Sean drives to work. And
I'm
we
going
talk
to be in
about Xbox.
Vancouver
Pretty
Island in a
great.
couple weeks. You should probably figure that out, actually. It might be you two again talking about Xbox. I don't know. We'll figure that out. Thank you guys, everybody, for being here. I feel like there's something that I should probably mention, but Bobby is back, and also a shout out to the Paddy Wagon, NintenTalk. We have Nintendo predictions coming up on Friday. On Wednesday, when you're hearing this on iTunes, you're also going to see if we're We the Gamercast for PlayStation. Good times. Keep it going. We're going to do some credits now. If I remember, who did I steal the credits from? Nope, not Jason on this one. Damn it, I've totally... Oh, Mr. Moody! It's a Mr. Moody review. The Avengers. I just saw the Avengers this weekend. Bye!
Avengers Infinity War is probably the most anticipated film for a lot of movie fans. It's directed by the Russo brothers, who directed Winter Soldier and Civil War, and stars pretty much everybody in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The plot for Infinity War is straightforward. You got the Mad Titan himself, Thanos, who's on a quest to assemble all the Infinity Stones so he can bring balance to the universe. Unfortunately, in his opinion, the only way to bring about that balance is by wiping out half of life in the universe. Now, clearly the concept of having half the life in the universe wiped out does not sit well with the Avengers, or with the Guardians of the Galaxy, or with any of our other MCU heroes, and they have to band together to stop Thanos before he can succeed. This film packs an emotional punch that has been 10 years in the making. Boy, does it absolutely deliver. This film is an incredible journey that takes you all around the galaxy with some fantastic visuals for the most part, non-stop action even in the quiet scenes, and a gut-wrenching story. The stakes couldn't be higher here, and Thanos is fully realised. He's the most important character in this movie. This really is his movie. Beyond that, Thanos is without a question the best villain the MCU has ever had. Arguments could be put that he could be the best comic book villain ever made as well. Everyone gets a chance to shine, which says something incredible about the Russo brothers as filmmakers, and that ending will break you. This really does feel like a worthy culmination of all the MCU movies we've seen thus far. It's the history of the characters, the relationship they have with each other, what they stand for, and it all comes together and lets the movie just knocks the wind out of you. The final verdict, should you go and watch Avengers Infinity War? Oh god, yes, you probably haven't even listened to this review and you've gone to see it either way. Why? Because this is a culmination of 10 years of work that pays off big time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for checking out my review of Avengers Infinity War. Let me know what you think of the film in the comments down below. If you would like to read the article version of this review, go to theouterlives.net for that.